Chapter 11, The Skeleton Merchant. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Looking at the private chat message, Fang Hao frowned. Yes, what's the matter? Fang Hao replied, in fact, there are some guesses in mind. Iron Axe, a 50-unit meat can increase the speed of resource collection. How many? That Yao Liang's tone was full of confidence. He didn't even ask if he wanted to buy it, but directly asked how many. Thinking about it is right, Fang Hao is the only one who can give up 50 units of meat for an axe. After all, he sells a lot of food on the shelves every day, which is enough to see that he has sufficient food reserves in his hands. At the same time, it also proves that Yao Liang has taken him as a big budget with huge sums of money. No wonder he said in the channel day, you can't afford it, naturally someone will. This is the idea of hitting his own body long ago. Fang Hao just hit the refusal halfway, but saw Yao Liang speak again on the regional channel. I have already reached a deal with Fang Hao. Fang Hao will purchase a large amount of iron axe. There are not many left, so hurry up if you want to buy them. Whoa! As soon as this remark came out, the channel boiled again. It's so expensive that Fang Hao can afford it. The two of them are driving up prices and forcibly turning tools into luxury goods. It's not a good thing. Hunted 2 one-horn sheep today, bought 2. That's right, Fang Hao knows the importance of early development. Why don't you understand? There are not many, so hurry up if you want to buy it. Watching everyone chatting, Fang Hao frowned. He didn't want to get involved in this, but Yao Liang used him as a gunman to make everyone think that iron axes were in short supply and accept the price. To be honest, this Yao Liang is very smart, a clever little man. If Fang Hao didn't get the blueprint of the iron axe, then he would really exchange food for a few. It doesn't matter how much you exchange by then, as long as it is exchanged. Yao Liang will make an essay on Fang Hao and become his free advertisement. Fang Hao is not a person who cares about other people's opinions, but I don't want to be used as a gunman at will. After thinking about it, I still open the channel to explain. I, Fang Hao, have never bought, and have no intention to buy this person's iron axe. Please don't blindly believe it. I'm going, Fang Hao has spoken. Catch. Live Fang Hao. Let me just say, this shit is playing with us. Fang Hao didn't buy it at all. As soon as Fang Hao's words came out, they immediately aroused criticism from others, who scolded Yao Liang for his shamelessness. What followed was Yao Liang's private chat. Fang Hao, what the fuck do you mean? Are you going to demolish me? I have never dealt with you, so it is necessary to clarify with everyone. Fang Hao replied flatly. Okay, you son of a bitch, play with me, don't you? Wait for me. Yao Liang scolded angrily. Fang Hao narrowed his eyes slightly, and remembered this Yao Liang in his heart, but I don't know the location of the other party's territory at present. Even if I am angry, there is nothing I can do. Cursing each other from the internet will only waste their daily chats. After thinking about it, Fang Hao came up with a way to anger him. Immediately with a 100-fold increase, 101 iron axes were made and sold on the shelves. Trader, Fang Hao. Registered item, iron axe. Quantity, 100 pieces. Required for 1 unit, for units of iron. Note, if you have drawings and special materials, you can privately chat about the price. With the comparison of Yao Liang's 8 units of iron, Fang Hao's 4 units seems very reasonable, and Yao Liang also sent a private chat again. Nimas, wait for Lao Tzu. At this time, Yao Liang was furious. Fang Hao demolished his platform. It just made him lose face in the channel. Now the iron axe is sold in 4 units, and those who just bought the iron axe from Yao Liang are chasing after him for a refund. There are no laws in this world. Even if each other did not know the location of the territory, Yao Liang did not dare to offend so many people. Under pressure, I had to refund the other party. Yao Liang, who was barking angrily, was ignored. In this world, strength is the last word. With the expansion of the territory, those who survive will meet sooner or later, and then it will not be so simple for anyone to scold. After the deal hangs, the speed of the iron axe decreases. The private chat sounded again. Boss Fang Hao, I have the blueprint. I will exchange the iron axe with you. The drawings were sent directly. Drawing of wooden barrel, white, materials, 5 wood, 2 hemp rope. Give you 2 iron axes. Fang Hao said. Okay, thank you. The two completed the transaction, and the blueprint was immediately included in the Book of Lords. Fang Hao made it immediately, trigger a 100-fold increase to get 101 barrels. It just so happened that a skeleton came back to deliver supplies. Go and fill these buckets with water. Fang Hao said. The skeleton immediately picked up the barrel and walked out. At the same time, there were several private chats. They are all blueprints in exchange for iron axes. Get the white drawing, wooden bench, wood 5, hemp rope 2. Note, a simple wooden bench can be used for 3 people to rest at the same time. Get the white drawing, drying rack, wood 3, hemp rope 2. Note, used for air drying raw meat for long-term storage. Get the white drawing, simple single bed, wood 7, hemp rope 6, leather 3. Remarks, simple and practical single bed, you can rest on it with peace of mind, without worrying about falling off. I have a double bed, or solid wood. Fang Hao secretly said that there was no bed before, so he could only sleep on thatch. Sleeping with back pain, just got a large double bed and now a single bed drawing. How come it's either none or a bunch of them? Outside the drawings, Dong Jiayue also contacted herself, with Shadow Stone. 10 iron axes were exchanged. After all, the food exchanged last time was enough for her and the peasants in the territory to support her for some time. Next, Fang Hao put 2,000 units of meat on the shelves before returning to the Lord's cabin to rest. Early morning, Fang Hao walked out of the Lord's wooden house and stretched greatly. The bed is comfortable, the newborn sun shrouded his face, and the dew glistened on the lawn beside him. The breeze was blowing, with a faint aroma of plants. Seriously, the air here is much better than the world in the past. Pick up the wooden board prepared on the side, and carve 3 on it. It means that this is the 3rd day that he has traveled here. Light the fire and prepare breakfast without forgetting to put food on the shelves for other people. While waiting for the meat slices to be cooked, Fang Hao started to make a drying rack. When I got the drawing of the drying rack yesterday, it was already night. There is nothing to dry at night, so I wait until the day to make it. Triggered by 100 times increase, get drying rack 101. 100 drying racks appeared in the open space. Stop a passing skeleton, you will be responsible for drying the food in the future. The skeleton put down the iron axe in his hand, walked to the warehouse, picked up a piece of meat, and hung it on the drying rack. These skeletons are also strange. Ming is not very intelligent, but the basic work explained by Fang Hao can be completed. The technique is very professional and skilled, just like executing the procedure. Put 3 pieces of meat on each drying rack in a regular manner and dry it. Watching the skeleton busy, he also stuffed the last piece of barbecue into his mouth. Swallow, put out the fire. A beep suddenly sounded. The caravan of bones arrives at your territory, and the Lord can check it out by himself. Bazaar built yesterday. The tip arrives at 12 hours, after this night. The time has come. You guys, follow me. To be on the safe side, Fang Hao called some skeleton soldiers. There should be no danger, but just in case, several skeleton soldiers came over immediately, followed behind Fang Hao with axes and shields. When I came to the market, I saw that the original tomb had been built, and beside the tomb sat a skeleton in a robe and a gorgeous dress. The skeleton merchant was dressed very richly, leaning on a wooden staff in his right hand, with a gem ring on his thin bone finger. The empty eye sockets glowed with blue light, like a ghost fire. When he saw that Fang Hao was a celebrity, the blue light in his eye sockets flickered with surprise, but soon calmed down again. Whispered, God of the undead, accept the faith of all believers. Seeing that Fang Hao was approaching, he immediately got up and said, Lord, Rule is willing to serve you. Fang Hao was stunned. What the hell? This skeleton can talk. Chapter 12, Enriching Commodities. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Although Fang Hao did not speak, he was also surprised. He was surrounded by skeletons, but none of them could speak. The skeleton in front of me not only can speak, but also has emotions. There is no meat in the neck. How do you pronounce it? It's not scientific. No, I have traveled through it myself, and science is obviously not suitable here. In addition to being surprised, Fang Hao did not forget to respond to the other party. Hello Mr. Roar, welcome to come. Fang Hao smiled. My honor. Skeleton Rule bowed gracefully. The behavior is like a proper etiquette aristocrat, which is in stark contrast with the image of the skeleton. Mr. Roar, where are the goods? I want to see the goods of the caravan first. Fang Hao said. Certainly. Roar's crutch tapped the ground, and the cemetery on the side opened a dim tunnel, and a set of shelves made of bones rose. There are 6 items on the shelves: iron sword blueprint, white, price, 5 war coins, leather helmet blueprint, white, price, 3 war coins, metal parts drawing, white, price, 2 war coins, organ jar, green, price, 50 war fire coins, Lord skill, God's appearance, Undead, price, 120 war fire coins, blank map, price, 2 war coins, caravan stop time, 4 hours 26 minutes. The first 3 drawings, needless to say, Fang Hao also understands the effect. It's just the use of the latter. I really don't know the effect. Organ tank, green, type, prop, description. The organ jar is a family of undead, an ancient container with mysterious energy, plundering the organs of powerful creatures, which can be used to strengthen the army and sacrifice to the gods. See Introduction. Fang Hao understood the function of the organ tank. In modern society, similar things have been said on TV. After the pharaohs of ancient Egypt were mummified themselves, their internal organs were kept in a kind of vessel, similar to this situation. God's appearance, undead, type, active skill, description. You can descend on the body of the undead under your command and control the body to fight. The lower the level of consciousness of the controlled body, the higher the fit. Seeing this skill, Fang Hao's eyes lit up instantly. This skill is good. The biggest characteristic of the troops under his command is that he has no intelligence and a particularly low consciousness. The fit is definitely high. Moreover, with this skill, your own safety can also be guaranteed. Dangerous places, rely on this skill, suppress the ecstasy in your heart and continue to view the last, blank map. Type. Single page, description. The explored terrain will be recorded on the map, which can be viewed in the Book of Lords. Also good stuff. The last time he explored the map and went to the kobold camp, he burned the map on a wooden board, inaccurate and very vague. This kind of plank map, 1 or 2 days can still rely on the impression to find the record point. After a long time, you look at the map you hand-painted and can't find the place. If there is a blank map to record at any time, it can be very convenient. Fang Hao looked at the product introduction carefully. The skeleton merchant was also looking at Fang Hao's territory, a village-level territory. It contains undead buildings and human buildings, and it is really a magical place. Of course, a territory like this level has limited spending power. The goods provided by the caravan are directly related to the territorial level. Currently, only low-level products are available. How? Do you need anything? Skeleton Rule's hoarse voice sounded. Fang Hao looked back and said, I want it all. There are not many war coins in hand. The system reward has been increased once, and the annihilation of the Doghead camp has gained some, just enough to buy all the items. Thank you for your generosity, Roar said. Then he took off all the items on the shelf and handed them to Fang Hao. The 3 white drawings were directly entered into the Book of Lords, which can be viewed on the production page. Blank map, also integrated into the Book of Lords. After opening it again, the 5th page has appeared. Resources, manufacturing, building, channel, and the newly added map. The map is foggy, and only the territory can be viewed. Lord skill, God is coming. Meet the learning conditions, whether to learn or not. Sure, the divine skill book turned into light and penetrated into Fang Hao's body. Finally, there is the organ jar. The earth-colored pottery jar is painted with intricate golden patterns. The lid of the can is a fist-sized metal skull, which is inexplicably weird. Mr. Roar, when will the goods be replenished next time? Fang Hao asked. This time, although all his war coins were spent, it was of great help to him. There is no use in keeping money in your hands. Only by spending it and improving your strength can you live more safely. Therefore, Fang Hao is already looking forward to the next product. The caravan will arrive at your territory with new cargo in 7 days, Rule replied. Rule is also very satisfied with Fang Hao, such a decisive and generous lord. Fang Hao nodded, remembering the number 7 days in his heart. In other words, the time for the store to refresh the item is 7 days. By the way, if I have goods, can I sell them here? Fang Hao suddenly had an idea. If you can sell items yourself, relying on the skills of 100 times increase, wouldn't it be possible to make money in reverse? Not yet. You can only sell goods to the market when your territory has a registered caravan. Rule gave the answer. Okay. Fang Hao smiled bitterly. This is to put an end to their own card bug. After the two chatted a few more times, the skeleton merchant Rule, after a slight salute, walked into the crack of the tomb. At the same time, a 7-day cooldown countdown appears above the tomb. The skeleton merchant leaves. Again he was left alone. It was hard to find someone who could talk, and he left after a while. If I knew it earlier, I would just buy it the same way, chat with this skeleton for a while, or at least ask him if he has a family, how to identify female skeletons and how to reproduce, take care and enhance your relationship. Now that the family is gone, it will take 7 days to chat. Next. Fang Hao came to the burial ground, barracks, and planned to recruit troops. In yesterday's battle, I got 122, creeping backbone, which were all recruited. Skeleton units do not consume food and do not incur burdens, naturally the more the better. Recruit now. 122 vertebrae disappeared, followed by prompts, triggered by 100 times increase. Recruit 12,322 skeleton soldiers. In an instant, silhouettes of skeletons filled the territory. Just as I was about to assign tasks to the newly produced skeleton soldiers, a private chat suddenly sounded. It was Dong Jiayue, who had dealt with him before. Is brother Fang Hao here? I'll discuss something with you. I'm here, tell me. Fang Hao thought she had another shadow stone to exchange with him. Now it seems that it should be something else. I explored the 3rd floor of the tomb, and there are undead creatures here. I want to advance some iron axes with you as weapons. Chapter 13, God's Coming. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Dong Jiayue was lucky. Her territory is located near a mountain range. The nearby wood and stone resources are abundant, and there is no need to worry about mining. In reality, Dong Jiayue's grandfather opened a martial arts gym, and she has learned some kung fu from her since she was a child. Therefore, on the 2nd day of crossing into this world, she walked out of the territory and began to explore the surroundings. In the valley, an ancient tomb was found. Soon, she found some blueprints and shadow stones from the ancient tomb. The blueprints are collected and used to develop the territory, and the shadow stone is sold to Fang Hao in exchange for resources. Among the lords who came together, it is considered a relatively good development. Today, when I led the militia to explore the 2nd floor of the ancient tomb, many undead creatures suddenly appeared. Not only did the 2 militiamen die, but she herself was injured, had no choice but to return to the territory and reconsider countermeasures. The ancient tomb is the basis for her to lead others. Even if there is danger, she must continue to explore. After thinking about it, I thought of Fang Hao's place and wanted to advance some weapons and equipment. Dong Jiayue didn't know that Fang Hao had iron weapons, but thought that iron axes were always more lethal than stone axes, so he planned to advance some iron axes. Do you want to advance some iron axes to fight? Fang Hao asked in surprise. Can you? Dong Jiayue was a little unsure. After all, every resource is very important now, and it is related to her own development and life. Then he hurriedly added, it's just a reward for advancing the shadow stone in advance. Is that okay? Fang Hao asked again, what kind of troops do you have? What weapons are you using? He didn't know the information about the human armies. It's just ordinary people's bravery, and there are no special arms yet. Dong Jiayue said. She thought Fang Hao knew about Mingyong. After all, everyone has crossed over from the earth, and they are all from the human camp. Naturally, they know the troops recruited by humans. How many do you have? 3. There were a few first-order Mingyong before, and 2 died in the previous battle, leaving only 3 people left. For including her, Fang Hao did not hesitate. He replied directly, I can provide you with weapons and equipment, and when you find good items, give them to me first. Okay, thank you Fang Hao, thank you for your trust. Dong Jiayue quickly thanked. This is not just a transaction, but also reflects Fang Hao's trust in her, and this kind of trust is especially precious in a place like this. Okay, you can put up a unit of wood or something, so I can trade it to you. Fang Hao said, the system only provides transactions, and currently does not provide gifts, but there are many ways. Pick up a stone from the ground and put it on the shelf, and the other party exchanges it with gold, which is allowed. Well. Soon, Dong Jiayue listed a unit of wood in the designated transaction, and Fang Hao also gave 4 single-edged knives and 4 wooden shields. When Dong Jiayue found out that the exchange was not an iron axe, but real weapons and equipment, his mouth opened wide. How far has Fang Hao's territory developed? On the 3rd day, he already had a real weapon. Moreover, if you can give her this kind of weapon, it means that this kind of equipment is not lacking in Fang Hao. At this moment, Fang Hao's impression in her heart became more and more powerful and unfathomable. Immediately sent a message to Fang Hao again to express his gratitude. Thank you, brother Fang Hao. Okay, pay attention to safety, there is hope if you live. Fang Hao instructed, Shadow Stone is a necessary material for upgrading undead buildings. At this time, only Dong Jiayue could get it. Then we must support Dong Jiayue in the cemetery. Explore, of course, the two have traded several times, and they are not friends, and they have a good impression of Dong Jiayue. I don't want Dong Jiayue to be in danger either. After the deal was over, both of them started busy with their own business. Fang Hao called up the make page and started making weapons and shields for more than 10,000 skeleton soldiers. Iron sword, wood 3, iron 3, leather 1. When the dog head camp was destroyed, 47 units of iron were obtained. In the past 2 days, the iron axe was sold and more than 300 units of iron were obtained, although not much, but with the blessing of 100 times increase, it is enough to arm this team. Make. Triggered by 100 times increase, get iron sword 13130. Triggered by 100 times increase, get a wooden shield of 13130. Triggered by 100 times increase, obtain 13,130 simple leather armor. Triggered by 100 times increase, get leather helmet 14140. Okay, all pick up weapons and equipment. Fang Hao greeted loudly. All the recruited skeleton soldiers stepped forward to pick up the weapons and equipment they had made and put them on their bodies. Don't go. Fang Hao grabbed a skeleton soldier who wanted to leave, directly used the God promise skill. It's black in front of you. Fang Hao's body sitting on the stone steps fell backwards instantly, and the skeleton soldiers who were stunned by the side, in the empty pupils, suddenly 2 orchid ghost fires rose, similar to the skeleton merchant who just left. God comes to the target, skeleton soldiers, fit 72%. Fang Hao's consciousness turned to Skull's body. He looked at the hands and feet of the dead bones in surprise, and then looked at his own body. You too, carry me into the room and put me on the bed. The voice of the skeleton's body was hoarse and dry. Sounds very weird. The 2 skeletons lifted Fang Hao's body and walked towards the Lord's wooden house. Boom. A muffled sound. The skeleton pushed open the wooden door directly with his head, and then threw it onto the bed. See this scene. Fang Hao angrily kicked the 2 skeletons with his bone foot. You two want to kill me. One of the 2 skeletons was kicked and staggered, still standing dumbfounded. Fang Hao then assigned work, part of patrol, part to help labor skeletons gather resources. And how did he select about 2,000 skeleton soldiers to explore the surrounding territories? In the Book of Lords, a new page, map, has been added. As long as you explore the place, the terrain will be automatically recorded. What has been explored before needs to be re-explored so that the map can record itself. Come with me. Greeting the 2,000 skeleton soldiers behind him, he walked out of the village. The territory is still in the protection period, and the protective cover can protect the safety of his body. Owning yourself to take risks on a skeleton is a profitable business no matter how you think about it. At the same time, Kobold Camp, a kobold with a war knife on his waist, his face was gloomy and full of anger. Sitting on a boulder, waiting for the news of the investigation, it led a team to the orc market to exchange goods, but when he came back, he found that his old nest had been destroyed, all resources and items have been removed, not even a chair was left, and at the same time he was furious. He could only order someone to bring a stone and sit on it and wait for news. Patriarch, there is news. Several kobolds rushed over and said loudly, kobolds are not intelligent, but they belong to the intelligent race. Occasionally, 1 or 2 kobolds will be sacrificed, and their wisdom is not lower than that of humans. Speak. The patriarch said angrily. We found an undead village along the rut, where many undead gathered. How many people? I look at it, at least a few thousand. Hearing this number, the patriarch's expression became gloomy. The number of the other party was too large, and it was not something they could fight against. Going to contact the Fireblade tribe, they said they found a fertile village and invited them to loot together. Chapter 14, Dragon Burial Cave Map. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fang Hao, who doesn't know it at all, still lead the team to explore the surrounding map. Even if the Book of Lords is in the hands of the original body, the places explored by the skeletons controlled by him will be recorded normally. Explored for 2 hours, the skeleton expedition team has already harvested 5 wild boars and 3 one-horned sheep. The beasts of this world are far from comparable to earth creatures. 2 wild boars occupy a flatbed. It takes 2 skeleton soldiers to work together to push the scooter to keep up with the speed of the team. Swinging the iron sword in his hand, he cut off the thorns in front of him. Because the body of the god is on the skeleton, and I don't have to take any risks, I have a feeling of fighting monsters and exploring. Passing through a dense forest, the situation has not yet been seen. Suddenly, an angry roar sounded ahead. Roar. Then, the ground began to tremble slightly, and the trees trembled. Look up, a huge, red-haired giant bear ran towards him. Jungle giant bear, tier 3, thought it happened suddenly. When Fang Hao discovered it, the giant bear had already rushed to his side and slapped it, hastily raised the shield. Boom. The giant bear stood up, and the bear claws slapped heavily on the wooden shield. After a loud bang, Fang Hao only felt that he was flying up, and there was the whistling sound of wind in his ears. Boom. With another dull sound, Fang Hao hit a tree and slowly slipped down. Only half of the wooden shield on the left arm hangs on the arm. He quickly checked his body and found that 2 ribs had been broken. Fortunately, Fang Hao couldn't feel the pain. Even if he broke 2 ribs, it still didn't affect his movement. The rest of the skeleton soldiers have already fought the bears. The newly replaced equipment is already lethal. When they swarmed up, on the body of the giant bear, in addition to slashing and slashing swords, they kept using shield strikes. The power of the giant bear is also not to be underestimated. Every time he swipes his palm, a skeleton soldier will fly out and his bones will break. Fang Hao stood up and threw away the broken wooden shield in his hand. The sword rushed up again, joined the slashing army. No matter how powerful and ferocious the giant bear is, it cannot withstand such a dense attack. In the end, Fang Hao saw the opportunity, stabbed the weak point under the giant bear's tail with a sword, stabbed and stirred, killing it completely. Grass, it's really fierce. Even the skeleton body could not feel fatigue and pain. He was also frightened by the ferocity of the giant bear. This is when you are attached to the skeleton soldier. If you lead the team to explore the map, just now, not dying is also seriously injured. There is no hospital here, and serious injuries are equivalent to waiting for death. Loaded in the car. 0.5 skeleton soldiers came over, and together they threw the body of the giant bear onto the cart. Wait for it to be transported back to the territory for slaughter. Go, there should be a nest nearby. Fang Hao greeted, and the team moved on. According to the experience of the magic-spotted tiger and the coyote, there should also be a treasure chest in the stronghold of the beast. After searching the vicinity, I found the cave of the giant bear. As soon as I entered it, I found that there were many humanoids and animal bones inside. Just wanted to go inside, but was attracted by a corpse. Adventurer's bones. Type, remains, description. This is the corpse of an unfortunately deceased adventurer. Next to the corpse, there is a backpack that has long been tattered. Fang Hao just picked it up when the leather backpack shattered by itself. A piece of paper with a pattern was dropped. Map, Burial Dragon Cave. Type, single-page map. Description, map drawn by adventurers. The route and topography of the Dragon Burial Cave are recorded. Good guy, the adventurer died in the mouth of the giant bear on the way. Burying him is considered safe. Fang Hao said. 2 skeleton soldiers came up, trying to lift the corpse that had turned into bones. The 2 worked hard. Whoa. The bones were scattered all over the place, and the skeleton soldiers began to pick up the fallen bones and bury them outside the cave. Fang Hao entered the cave and saw the wooden treasure chest. Open the treasure chest. Obtain, stone hole blueprint, bathtub blueprint, natural gem *1. Natural gems. Category, rare resources, remarks, recruitment of advanced units, construction of special buildings, and essential and rare resources. It's a good thing, but unfortunately we are bad people. Fang Hao said softly, holding the natural gem. Rare resources are naturally precious. This name is obviously incompatible with the Undead family, or Shadow Stone. This name is more suitable for the Undead. Pack all useful resources, start the return journey. The fully loaded team returns to the territory. Fang Hao released the state of God's presence, and the skeleton soldiers returned to their original rigid appearance again, went to the warehouse, picked up a new shield, and consciously joined the patrol team, as if nothing had happened. After the soul returns to the body, Fang Hao sat up from the bed and first touched the top of his head. There was a big bag on it. It was when the skeleton was carrying him that it hit the door. Next time you have to lie down first to avoid getting hurt. Get out of the room, come to the loot. First Order Warcraft Yahoo Wild Boar *5, is it slaughtered? Slaughter. The slaughter is completed, and the meat is 2,500, the hide is 100, and the bone is 75. First Order Unicorn Sheep *3, is it slaughtered? The slaughter is completed, and the meat is 1,500, the hide is 60, and the bone is 45. The Third Order Jungle Giant Bear, is it slaughtered? The slaughter is completed, and you will get 900 meat, 55 hides, and 30 bones. This time, the meat storage, which was gradually decreasing, increased again. Skeleton soldiers have low hunting abilities. Although hunting teams were arranged, there were very few cases of bringing back prey. This time, Fang Hao was able to personally lead the team, and the hunting efficiency was significantly improved. Several prey were slaughtered. Pick up a few drawings and maps again. Drawings of stone hose, drawings of bathtubs, are automatically entered into the manufacturing page of the Book of Lords, and the Dragon Burial Cave map merged with the map of his own territory the moment he came into contact with the Book of Lords. In the north of the territory map, a mountain slowly emerged. It is the location of the Dragon Burial Cave. Not to mention, it's quite human. It's just that the Dragon Burial Cave is far away from the territory. It is obviously not realistic to want to traverse the fog and directly reach the location of the Dragon Burial Cave. It's been a busy day, and it's almost dusk. Put food on the shelves for other people first. After all, there are still many people waiting for Fang Hao to put food on the shelves every day. With the development of each territory, the demand for food is still huge. Some lucky lords have obtained barracks blueprints and can recruit militiamen, but hunting is still difficult. If you encounter a group of or high-level monsters, who is the prey is still uncertain. Now, once Fang Hao put food on the shelves, it was too late. There will be people chatting privately and urging them to determine whether Fang Hao was killed or not, and why the food has not been put on the shelves. Thousands of units are still in short supply. In the blink of an eye, it was sold out. Ding. Private chat rang. Brother Fang, I have blueprints here, and I want to exchange some iron axes with you. This person, Fang Hao, has some impressions. The simple leather armor blueprint was exchanged by this person with him. Of course, you can send it to me to see. Fang Hao replied, this is the second transaction, and they are familiar with each other a lot. Iron pot drawings, wood 6, stone 6, iron 3. It was a walk. Well, I'll give you 3 iron axes, what do you think? Fang Hao thought about it and gave his exchange number. Chapter 15, The Lost Wood Samurai. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A wok is not a must-have item. Moreover, there is an iron pot in the warehouse, which was obtained from the extermination of the kobold camp. It's just that the psychological burden of not being able to cook has been left there for no use. Now someone has a drawing of an iron pot, just in time to make a new one. Okay. The man replied and added another sentence, Brother Fang Hao, I've learned the drawings. I'll provide the materials. Can you make a pot for me? This, hee. Fang Hao immediately understood what this person was thinking. He had a good idea. With the current territory level, an iron pot is enough. He sold the blueprint to himself in exchange for 3 iron axes, and in turn asked Fang Hao to help him make another one. It doesn't hurt. Okay, next time you have drawings, sell them to me. Fang Hao said generously. He didn't really care. There is a 100-fold increase in blessing. No matter what you do, it is not a loss. 1 piece of material, 100 finished products. What is rare is the drawings, not the materials. Thank you, brother, I'll put it on the shelves immediately. Soon, in the designated transaction, the iron pot making blueprint appeared. After giving the other 2 iron axes, they got the iron pot blueprint. Iron pot, wood 6, stone 6, iron 3. Make. Trigger a 100-fold increase to obtain 101 iron pots. The light flickered, 101 iron pans appeared in the open space in front of them. The iron pot is also different from the captured cobalt iron pot. The newly built iron pot is one piece, with a wood pile below and an iron pot on it. Choosing a bite and trading it to a man is the completion of the agreement between the two. I kept 3 pots for myself, and the rest of the iron pots and cobalt iron pots were all put on the shelves. Trader, Fang Hao, registered item, iron pot, quantity, 98. Mouths. Required for 1 mouth, 5 units of iron ore. Note, if you have special resources, drawings or items, you can chat privately. Busy everything, Fang Hao called a skeleton. You are responsible for boiling water. The skeleton sent the stones in his hand into the warehouse and began to boil water according to the instructions. There are 101 buckets of water in the territory, and there is no need to go to the distance to fetch water. Fang Hao continued to open the Book of Lords and transferred to the production page. Bathtub is selected, bath bucket, wood 5, hemp rope 3. Make, trigger a 100-fold increase, get a tub of 101. Before all the iron pots were sold, a lot of tubs appeared. Excess tubs are also sold, but not now. It is difficult to say that the frequent and large-scale sale of items will not attract the attention of interested people. Don't be in a hurry, just wait until it's on sale tomorrow and during the day. Commanding the skeleton, he moved the barrel to the open space beside him. The water also boiled. After adjusting the temperature of the water, I took a bath. After taking a shower, I instantly feel refreshed and relaxed, out of the tub, arms outstretched, waiting for the body to dry. It's really good to relax all over the body and take a bath in the breeze. Next, to start preparing dinner, bring a pot of broth to the boil, turn on the regional channel, at will to kill time. Hey! Have you used Mr. Fang Hao's pot? Are there any special circumstances? No, what's wrong? I picked some mushrooms and wild vegetables, boiled a pot of soup, and didn't put any meat in it. Why is the pot full of oil flowers? The meat smell is like boiling a pot of meat. You brag B. Really or not, I am also mushroom soup. How can I make it clear and clear? Really, I just tasted it, and it really tasted like broth. Damn it, brother, you have found a treasure. Isn't this dun broth? Presumably, your pot has hidden attributes. Sell. Buy at a high price. For a moment, in the channel, there was a chatter about the iron pot. The iron pots on the shelves also began to sell out quickly. Some people need a bite, some are bought, looking forward to the appearance of the characteristic iron pot of vegetarian broth. Fang Hao did not expect such a thing to happen, and the pot that boiled green vegetables and the oily flour appeared should be the iron pot in the cobalt camp. After all, stewing meat all the year round will also leave some meaty smell. Take care of everything, go to bed. The next day, early morning, go out of the Lord's cabin, stretching and jotting down the 4th day aside, make a fire to cook. After breakfast, I went around the territory, jogging, and doing some basic fitness exercises. Originally, he was in good shape. There are some muscles all over the body, but after crossing over, he found that his muscles were getting more and more collapsed. This is not a good sign. This morning, I arranged a morning exercise, such a project. After doing everything, changed to a more comfortable position on the bed, using the God's appearance skill, he attached himself to a skeleton soldier. Today is still yesterday's task. Continue to explore the terrain of the week. After choosing 2,000 skeleton soldiers, the team strode out of the territory, go west across a plain. Fang Hao suddenly stopped the team, looking forward solemnly. Several humanoid creatures are wandering around. The whole body is entwined like wooden vines, and green buds grow in part of the body. Lost Wood Elemental Samurai, Tier 3, type, summoned, unowned, ability, entanglement, recovery. Description: the acolytes who lost their attendants gradually lost their targets. They wandered here, attacking creatures in all paths. It's the third tier again, and there are still 3 wandering ahead. Glancing at the skeleton soldiers behind him, he gave the order to attack. Attack! 2,000 skeleton soldiers attacked with weapons raised high. The large-scale charge quickly attracted the attention of Wood Elemental Samurai. The body glowed a faint green light. A vine grows from the feet of the skeletons, wriggling around like a python, grabbing nearby skeletons and restricting movement. But there are too many skeletons. Wrapping doesn't have any effect at all. Soon, the skeleton soldiers rushed to the front, and the wooden servants, their arms turned into 2 tangled vine whips, fought with the skeletons. The wood samurai showed their good fighting power, but in the face of so many skeletons, dense and disorderly attacks, the wood servants are still struggling to persevere. In the end, it turned into a green awn and drifted from the air. After he died, he also dropped items, a natural gem, and 3 units of traces of the earth, all collected. Search to see if there are any treasure chests nearby. The skeletons dispersed quickly. After a while, a black iron treasure chest was really moved. Fang Hao opened it immediately. Obtain, Ling Tian Architectural Blueprint, green, Spiritual Necklace, green, Natural Gems *5, Traces of the Forest *1, War Coins *15. Except for some materials, this time, a green blueprint and a piece of green equipment were actually issued. Mind Necklace, green, dot category, neck jewelry, prop effect, increase mental recovery. Description, a necklace that invigorates you. The world has digitized many items. It does not clearly indicate the amount of bleeding and mental strength like the game. However, when using God's presence to attach to the skeleton soldiers, you can clearly feel mental exhaustion, and this necklace may not have a good weapon to make people happy, but it is exactly what he needs. Ling Tian Blueprint, green, dot type, architectural drawings. Description. Constructing a spiritual field in an appropriate place can grow crops and increase the growth time of crops. Chapter 16, The Orc Project. You are listening at novelfold.audio. There are still some differences between spiritual fields and ordinary farmland. Normal understanding, Ling Tian is a field with better soil quality, and crops grow better and mature faster. It has been the 4th day since I came to this world. Although there is no need to worry about eating and drinking, Dundon's barbecue has no seasoning, so it is a bit monotonous. With the emergence of Ling Tian, it may be possible to grow some crops and change his single diet. You guys, change your shields, Fang Hao said. The skeleton soldiers who were named throw away their broken shields and pick up the equipment of their fallen teammates. In the battle just now, even the undead side had an absolute numerical advantage. Still lost 8 skeleton soldiers. The replacement was the one with the better shield among the 8. After the outfit is complete, the team continues to set off and continue to explore the map. Inside the kobold camp, the camp that had been swept up. Ushered in a group of teams, they are 2 meters tall, with big mouths and fierce looks, with a savage and sturdy aura. Unlike kobolds, these people are true orc warriors. Aggression, war, and looting are their only hobbies. Inside the Patriarch's hall, the kobold patriarch stood aside nervously, constantly wiping the sweat from his forehead. It never thought that it would ask for support, but the most irritable, Kadwa, came. Koder is a young orc. He is the leader of the tribe and the son of the chief of the Burning Blade tribe. The kobold patriarch is not sure at this moment whether it is the right decision to call in the support of the Burning Blade tribe. So, during the time you were away, your camp was attacked by these undead? Keto's voice was dull. Yes, yes. The kobold replied hastily. This village is very rich. I've never heard of anything of value in the undead. Keto asked again. He led the team, naturally not to avenge the kobold camp. These weak guys have nothing to do with them whether they die or not, or listen to the book. The village is very rich, rushing to plunder. Very rich, very rich. The kobold patriarch smiled flatteringly. It's better, if I find out that you dare to lie to me, I'll make your head a decoration and hang it on the wall. Keto's voice was murderous and threatening. The kobold village chief was sweating more and didn't dare to make a sound. At this moment, the scouts who arranged to investigate the situation returned and entered the hall. Sir, the situation has been investigated. There is indeed an undead village, but the village is under the protection of the energy shield. The scout reported in a deep voice. Keto listened, his face gradually gloomy. When the scout left, he roared angrily, "If you dare to deceive me, I will cut off your head and make a chamber pot." The Fireblade tribe has had contact with the energy shield. The energy shield protects the village very well, and even the most powerful equipment cannot be broken. This also means that if they ran for nothing, no matter how low the defense of the village was, they would not be able to enter. The Kobold village chief was startled by the growl. It didn't know the function of the energy shield at all. At that time, it only wanted to let the Fireblade tribe avenge itself. "Don't dare, I don't dare." Just when Keto wanted to pick up the sword and cut the kobold directly, a voice interrupted the conversation between the two. "Commander Keto, if I want to capture this village, I have a way." The eyes of everyone present fell on this person at the same time. This is a human, with a leather armor over a Nike tracksuit and a brown-covered book hanging from his waist. Keto's aura is too strong, attracting everyone's attention. It was only at this time that he noticed that there was a human standing in the hall of the orc tribe. Keto suppressed the anger in his heart and said coldly, "What can you do?" After he finished speaking, he sat back in his seat. "Since there is a protective cover, it is likely to be my same clan. If the village can't rush in, we can lead him out and kill him. When the other party dies, the protective cover will disappear naturally." The human said with a smile, "This person's name is Zhuang. Unfortunately, his territory was discovered by the Burning Blade tribe on the second day after crossing over. The territory has a protective cover. These orcs cannot attack, but guarding the door still hinders the development of the territory. Farmers cannot go out and collect resources. Zhuang is a bit wise. He negotiated with the orcs, and the village became a vassal of the tribe. There is no need to develop troops, just keep collecting resources for the Fireblade tribe. I came with Keto today. When I heard the energy shield, I guessed it was another lord, and this lord will be his gift to Keto." "Are you confident?" Hearing Zhuang's plan, Kuduo's eyes lit up. Orcs are not good at it, and they don't bother to use any tricks, but they can also hear that this plan may be feasible. "You can try it," Zhuang said. "Okay, as long as you can succeed, I will propose to my father to give you more rights." "Thank you." Zhuang was overjoyed and hurriedly thanked. Dusk is approaching. Fang Hao led the team back to the territory. In addition to exploring nearby maps, a large number of beasts have also been hunted. Increased stock of meat and hides. After all, there are a large number of people waiting to be fed every day, waiting for him to put food on the shelves. Cancel the God's presence, state and slaughter all the prey. The slaughter is completed, and the meat is 7,500, the hide is 450, and the bone is 300, the fourth day of crossing, but the demand for meat still exists. I suffer a little, eat less, and I can bear it, but farmers and soldiers also need to provide food, replenish stamina, and increase loyalty. Enter the Lingtian blueprint, into the Lord's book. Materials required for the first level spiritual field: 1,500 wood, 800 stone, 300 hemp rope, 5 natural gems, and 1 trace of the earth. Blue quality drawings. The required material is also large. Among them, natural gems and traces of the earth are rare resources. Fortunately, these material warehouses are available. Holding the Book of Lords, he chose to build on a flat open space outside the village. The wooden fence encircled an open space. All the weeds had disappeared, and the soil was soft, not as hard as before. Standing on the periphery, measure the distance with your stride. It is about a square field of 10 meters x 10 meters, it's just that there are no crop seeds yet. Return to the territory, sit down on the bench in front of the log cabin and turn on the regional channel while making soup. A lot of information, scrolling to surface. Which brother knows how to bandage? I was bitten by a wolf. What should I do? Can't I get rabies? Open seat. I'm sitting at the kids' table. Brothers, really, I really don't bite. The wound is deep. Stop making trouble. Immediately flush the wound with water and squeeze out the contaminated blood. Is the river okay? It is best to use clean water to avoid wound infection. Okay, thank you brother. Then, Fang Hao's private chat followed. Opening it, it was the Lord who had just asked for advice on how to deal with the wound. Is Mr. Fang Hao here? Jianghu Rescue, can I change a cast iron pot with you? I want to boil some water. Chapter 17, Crops. You are listening at novelfold.audio. The number of speeches each day is fixed, even if some people will consume the number of chats and farts. Most of the lords are still very restrained, nothing important, no nonsense in chat channels. This lord seems to be very urgent, and the number of times in the chat channel is almost exhausted. Okay, you can put it on the shelf, and I'll give it to you. Fang Hao is not a good person, but he is not an indifferent person either. He will not be charitable to the Virgin, but if others encounter things, he will not indifferently watch each other's jokes. Therefore, Fang Hao didn't ask for anything, and planned to give him a pot. Thank you, boss. Then I put items on the shelves for convenient private chat: bone arrow drawing exchange, iron pot, bone arrow. Type, arrow, damage, first level damage. Description, arrows made of sharpened bones are very fragile, and the arrows will be broken when they hit the target bone. It turned out that the other party didn't want a prostitute for nothing, but the role of the bone arrow was really not that big. It belongs to the lowest level of arrows, similar to the stone axe in weapons. Fang Hao didn't say much, just clicked to confirm the exchange. The iron pot on the shelf disappeared, and there was a drawing of a bone arrow in his hand. Enter the drawings and include them in the column of production. At the same time, he also remembered the two-handed light crossbow blueprint he had obtained before. After the skeleton merchant appeared and exchanged the metal parts blueprint, the production conditions were met. It's just that there has been no battle, and the occasional beast, the skeleton soldiers can handle it. Actually, think about it. Two-handed light crossbow, this weapon is very suitable for labor skeletons with rigid movements. The attack power does not depend on the combat power of the labor skeleton, but the lethality of the two-handed light crossbow. Anyway, let's talk about it later. It's not useful yet. After dinner, I put 5,000 units of food on the shelves for the people on the channel. Think about it and speak in the channel. Whoever has the seeds of the crops, if there are any, can privately chat with the price. The moment Fang Hao spoke, the scrolling chat stalled for a few seconds, then, like a frying pan, it boiled. Fuck. Is Fang Hao going to develop agriculture? What's the situation? Are you all in the same world? We are still drinking blood, and the bosses have entered the era of farming. Ask for a guide. I planted a seed 2 days ago, and the fertilizer was sufficient every day, but it never germinated. Upstairs, according to years of clinical experience, your shit is poisonous. How do you know that your mouth ulcers are because of this? Ouch. The topics in the channel gradually began to become strange. From agricultural discussions, it started to become fertilizer, and finally it became a food safety issue. The 10 chat limit per day still can't stop everyone's brain hole and ridicule. Let this dangerous world, a little more joy. Soon, someone paid a private chat. Is the boss there? I have 20 potatoes here, do you want it? Potatoes are tubers without seeds and can be grown normally by cutting them into pieces. Yes, what do you want to change? Fang Hao asked. Boss, is 8 units of meat good? The other party asked cautiously, for fear of Fang Hao's disapproval. Both of them looked embarrassed after refusing. Judging from the current situation, Fang Hao has a considerable reputation in the entire region. Many people buy food here, as well as some tools such as iron axes and pots. No one knows that one day there will be a request to Fang Hao, so naturally they don't dare to offend. Same. Fang Hao will not care about the other party because of more or less. Okay, you can put it on the shelf. Okay. The other party happily agreed and put it on the shelves immediately. Fang Hao completes the transaction and gets 20 potatoes. The next step is to make hoes. The stone hoe was obtained by killing the giant bear and opening the treasure chest when exploring the map yesterday. Stone hoe, 2 wood, 2 stone, 2 hemp rope. Make. Trigger a 100-fold increase and obtain 101 stone hoes. Hey, there is only one piece of the field, and more than 100 hoes are made, but it is useless. He stopped a hard-working labor skeleton and said, you will be responsible for farming in the future, so plant these potatoes first. The worker skeleton put down the iron axe in his hand, picked up the hoe and potato, and walked out of the village mechanically. Fang Hao followed behind, feeling a little uneasy in his heart. To be honest, he lived in the city before and didn't know much about farming. Just dig a hole, bury some soil, water it, and wait. Farming is definitely not that simple. If the skeleton can't, and he can't either, then it's really interesting. There are fields and tools, and they can't grow, but it turns out that Fang Hao thought about everything. The skeleton came to the Ling Tian, skillfully smashed the ground, and cut the potatoes into pieces one by one, skilled in action. At the same time, a faint glow appeared in the planted position, showing the countdown, distance to maturity, 6 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes. Good guy, this Ling Tian is awesome. It matures in 7 days. Doesn't this mean that in 7 days he will be able to eat potatoes? Then, someone else contacted Fang Hao privately and sold him garlic and pepper seeds respectively. There are not many seeds, and they are replaced and handed to the farmer skeleton for planting. Busy everything, walk around in circles and do sit-ups. Now we have to eat and drink, and drink and drink. And the speed of development is much faster than others. The next thing to compare is the lifespan. You must not build your territory well, and your body will collapse first. Therefore, proper exercise is still essential. While doing the third set of crunches, 2 skeletons walked up to him. The 2 held aloft the carcass of a wild boar. Boom! He threw it directly beside him, causing a burst of dust. Fang Hao, who was doing push-ups, had a dirty look on his face. I'm sick, I haven't seen anyone. Fang Hao cursed loudly. The skeletons ignored it and walked away. Fang Hao's eyes were attracted by the corpse of the wild boar. The wild boar had multiple fatal wounds, and a smooth hide was tied to the wild boar's tail. It reads, "Brother, I am the Lord near you, come out and talk, let's help each other, I will wait for you in front of the woods to the east." The characters are in Chinese, and it can be seen that the other party is not imitating, but is really good at this kind of characters. It seems that it is really other nearby lords who have discovered their own territory, afraid of being attacked by skeletons. He passed the message this way, looking at the sky. There are many doubts in my heart. It stands to reason that there is a certain distance between the territories. And this distance is definitely not too close, otherwise, the other party would not discover their territory until the 4th day. At this time, the sky was dark, he had finished eating, and he was going to sleep after exercising, and the other party asked to meet with him at this time. Even if he agrees to meet, how can the other party go back? Night can be more dangerous than day. It can be concluded that the other party has a residence nearby, and the residence in the east and away from his own territory. Unconsciously, Fang Hao thought of the kobold camp. Chapter 18, Come Out to Talk One Talk. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Continue to view the boar carcass. Before slaughtering, certain observations can be made on the carcass. Once slaughtered, the meat and materials will automatically decompose, and the inedible parts will disappear on their own. The wound was deep, proving that the man who killed the wild boar was very powerful, and human lords currently do not have this kind of power. It should be done by the troops under his command. And in the crack of the wild boar's broken tusk, a red hair was found. This kind of hair is thicker than human, but similar to the fur of this wild boar. Is he also a special camp, or has a special type of arms? Fang Hao frowned and muttered, but there was always a haze in his heart. I feel that the other party is not talking about it, and it is as simple as helping each other. Night falls that I in front of the woods to the east. A torch lit up. Zhuang held a torch and waited for the arrival of the lord of the distant territory. Of course, he was not alone in the woods. Nearly 2,000 orc warriors were hidden in the nearby bushes. Zhuang, it seems that your plan didn't work. Orc Keto said aside. Zhuang offered a plan to lead this lord out of the protective cover and kill it. Those lower skeletons couldn't communicate at all. They hunted a wild boar and asked Zhuang to write a letter of meeting and send it to the other lord. Make an appointment to meet here. But it was dark, and the other lord did not come out. Wait a little longer, the other party should come. Zhuang said, still not giving up. If his plan fails, with Kadwa's temper, he will definitely punish himself. Even the simple whip punishment of the orcs is not something he can bear. Just when the two were talking, in the distant territory, a group of people suddenly walked out. The moon was bright, and I saw the figure of the other party. They're here, you hurry up and hide. Zhuang urged. Keto also noticed the people coming from afar, and waved his hand to hide all the orcs. As long as the opponent is killed, the protective shield will disappear. Soon, under the gaze of Zhuang, a man wrapped in clothes walked closer. Behind him were 2 skeletons wearing leather gear, armed with swords and shields. Zhuang's eyes narrowed slightly, surprised that the other party had an iron sword. and also felt greedy. "Brother, you are here." Zhuang Hong greeted warmly. Fang Hao looked at Zhuang Hong and said in a low voice, "Well, what's your name?" The voice was hoarse and low, and it sounded very uncomfortable. "Zhuang Hong, what about you, brother?" Zhuang Hong stepped forward to greet him. "It doesn't matter who I am, what about the people you ambushing? You can let them come out." Fang Hao said directly. There was still some uncertainty in my heart. When he saw Zhuang Hong standing here alone, he was sure of the other party's malicious thoughts. Who would dare to stand here alone? Even Fang Hao didn't dare to stand here at night just to simply wait for someone. "What do you mean?" "Don't pretend, I've already come, what else can you do?" Fang Hao continued, "Call." At this moment, there was a sound of breaking wind. A cold light flew from the bushes on the side. Click. Boom. With a crisp sound, an iron knife pierced Fang Hao's body directly and nailed it into the tree trunk behind him. At the same time, a large number of orcs rushed out and beheaded the other 2 skeleton soldiers. "Humph. A smart fool who dares to come over after guessing that there is an ambush." Keto sneered and walked out of the bushes. Kobold Chief, that he diligently took down the sword that had been nailed into the tree trunk, and handed it respectfully to Keto's hand, and he didn't forget to flatter him. "Lord Keda is really powerful, and he killed him with one move." "Use your nonsense." Keto shouted angrily. The Kobold Patriarch smiled flatteringly. Yes, I shouldn't be talking nonsense." Keto, who was immersed in the joy of victory, suddenly became serious. The protective cover of the distant territory did not disappear, and the skeletons working outside also began to gather, put down the work in hand and return to the territory. "What's the matter?" Keto's voice became a little colder again. The kobold who had been chatting and flattering shrank his neck, closed his mouth, and quietly stepped aside. Zhuang Hong also sank, stepped forward immediately, took off his clothes, and took a closer look at the corpse pierced by the sword. Seeing his face, Zhuang Hong's expression changed dramatically. "Lord Keda, look." Keto and the orcs around him watched. What kind of human lord is this? Like the other 2 skeleton soldiers, it is a skeleton, with thatch stuffed in order to make the body look full. "I've been tricked. Let's go back to the camp, and arrange for someone to guard him at the door tomorrow." Keto ordered. I don't know what method the other party used, using the skeleton to come to test, but the other party is obviously not dead. They began to gather up their troops, and then hid in the protective cover and couldn't come out. They really had no way to take the other side. I can only go back to the camp first and wait for other opportunities tomorrow. The orcs lit their torches, and the group began to retreat. Behind them, a small skeleton followed the light of the torch and followed from a distance. Late at night, Fang Hao sat up from the bed, rubbing his temples. He looked slightly tired. Just now, he followed the retreating orcs all the way, and has confirmed that the other party's foothold is the kobold camp. At the same time, I also knew in my heart that this time the other party's plan was unsuccessful. He will never let him go. On the contrary, Fang Hao will not let such a group of uncontrollable dangers exist around him. Go out of the room and light the fire. Start making tools by firelight. Metal parts. Metal 1. Make. Trigger a 100-fold increase to obtain 101 metal parts. Two-handed light crossbow. Wood 5, iron 2, metal parts 3. Select 20 directly. Trigger a 100-fold increase. Get a two-handed light crossbow 2020. Two-handed light crossbow. Green. Dot. Category. Two-handed remote. Dot, damage, secondary damage, dot, description, a light and easy-to-use light crossbow. Find a skeleton to test fire. It can be used normally, no problem at all. Bone arrow, wood 1, animal bone 2. Bone arrows are consumables. Choose 100 directly, trigger a 100-fold increase, get 10,100 bone arrows. In an instant, the weapons in the open space were piled up on a hill. Load the bone arrows on the trolley, and all the labor skeletons pick up the light crossbows with both hands. Fang Hao ordered loudly. Several carts were pushed over, and a bundle of bone arrows was loaded onto the cart. The labor skeletons threw away the tools in their hands and picked up the two-handed light crossbow beside them. In addition, I checked the weapons and armor of all the skeleton soldiers, picked out a few skeletons, and replaced the shields and armor in their hands. Everything is ready. go back to the room to lie down, and cast God's appearance. The next second, a blue ghost fire rose from the chest of a skeleton soldier. Let's go. Fang Hao gave the order. The army of bones walked out of the camp and headed towards the kobold camp. Kobold camp, the houses of kobolds simply cannot accommodate tall orcs. In the open space in the center, a humble animal skin tent was built. More than 2,000 strong orcs gathered in the open space in the center of the camp and ate dinner, in order to trap and kill Fang Hao. They have been busy until now, but in the end they were unsuccessful. Inside the Patriarch's hall, the orc Keto, and Zhuang and others were eating the meat on the plate. Zhuang had a hard time swallowing the sticky and weird broth. Lord Kadwa, although it failed this time, it also proves the feasibility of the plan. When meeting other human lords, it will definitely succeed. Zhuang put down the broth and said softly. Keto did not speak, but the kobold patriarch gave Zhuang a strange look. Orcs respect their strength, and it is quite common for the same kind to kill each other, but it is also rare, like Zhuang, who is so keen to give ideas to foreigners and harm people of the same family. Chapter 19, Kill Zhuang. You are listening at novelfold.audio. While talking, Zhuang carefully observed Keto. There's nothing wrong with the plan just now. The other party has come to meet, and it can also prove the feasibility of the plan, but they obviously underestimated that lord, a lord with a special faction who could control skeletons. The booby trap was unsuccessful, which made Zhuang very uneasy, relying on people's fences, looking up to people's breath. It's about him at this time. The orc has the right to decide his life and death, so he has to be careful to flatter and please. If it weren't for you, I would have cut you down long ago. Keto said coldly. Zhuang's territory is already an affiliated village of the Burning Blade tribe, collecting resources for the tribe every day. It would be a pity to kill such a free labor force. Yes, I will do my job well. Zhuang kept wiping his sweat while reassuring. It's better to reflect your value. Whoosh whoosh. At this moment, there was a sudden sound of dense wind breaking outside the room. Then, there was the howl of pain from the orc warrior. Keto stood up abruptly and walked out. Just as he stepped out, he saw the arrow falling on his head. Clap clap clap. Arrows as dense as raindrops fell, like a huge net, covering the entire camp. Arrows cut through the tent, and the orcs kept falling. Bone arrow. Keto picked up an arrow outside the door. When the bone arrow touched the ground, it shattered directly, leaving only some bones left at the shaft of the arrow. Look for cover, don't run around. Keto yelled. The wandering orcs began to look for cover to avoid the arrows. There are not many bunkers in the camp. Those who squeezed into the bunkers survived, but those who did not go in, the arrow rain lasted for more than 10 minutes, except for a few who used the corpses of their companions as shields. Many orcs died directly under the bone arrow. I have never seen such a rainy salvo without money. The arrow rain stopped, and Keto and the others walked out of the hall and climbed the city wall. When he saw a skeleton with a light crossbow in both hands outside in the moonlight, Keto could no longer suppress his anger, roared. It's the lowly skeletons, the warriors of the Fireblade tribe. Pick up your weapons and follow me to kill them all. Roar. Hoo. The morale of the orcs was ignited, and they picked up the weapons around them and roared loudly. More than 1,000 orc warriors rushed towards the skeleton in front of them like angry beasts. Their eyes were scarlet, and they looked mad, with a heavy sense of oppression. However, when the orcs rushed out of the camp, a huge number of skeleton soldiers came out from both sides of the road. Upon entering, the entire forest is filled with skeletons holding sharp blades. No command required. The next second, the two conveniences fought together, 20,000 to 1,000. At the moment of the fight, the sea of skeletons drowned the more than 1,000 orcs, and no one could be found at all. There was only a howl of fury and unwillingness from the orcs. After half an hour, the battle was completely over. All the orcs were killed, and even Keto was tragically killed by the sword. No one survived. Fang Hao controlled the skeleton soldiers and walked into the camp with blood. Plasma. Zhuang hid in the corner, his body trembling constantly. He's finished. I would have known better not to provoke this person. Why do you want to stand up and make plans for the orcs to provoke this person? Zhuang, right? I must have remembered your name correctly. Do you have any last words? Fang Hao came to him and asked softly. Don't kill me, I am wrong, I am willing to give you the territory, we are fellow villagers, don't kill me. Zhuang Hong begged for mercy loudly. He can negotiate with orcs, and he can negotiate with humans, although the other party is only a skeleton now, he can be sure that the other party must be a human. In Zhuang Hong's heart, there was still a trace of luck, but these words were of no use to Fang Hao. This is your last word. I know. He raised the iron sword in his hand. Zhuang Hong shook his body and shouted loudly, what can I do? My territory is near the orc tribe, I also want to live, what can I do if I don't depend on them? Is it wrong for me to want to live? I just want to live. Down. After speaking, Zhuang Hong began to cry bitterly. Everyone's experience is different. Zhuang Hong thought that his start was not good, but Fang Hao's start was even worse. Blame Zhuang Hong for choosing the wrong path, he chose to kill Fang Hao. I know, if you can return to Earth after death, remember to give me a dream. As soon as he finished speaking, Fang Hao's long sword cut out and easily slit his throat. Blood splattered. Zhuang Hong's face was full of horror, and his hands tightly covered his throat, trying to survive, but everything was in vain, and in the end, he could only fall limply to the ground, his eyes gradually becoming dull. The winner is the king, the loser is the bandit. If at first, I believed Zhuang Hong's words, I went to meet him. Then he was the one who died. On the other hand, Zhuang Hong was the victor, a victor who relied on strategy to defeat the enemy. The same is true now. Fang Hao wins, and killing him will not have any soft-hearted, what's wrong, don't dare next time, everyone is a fellow. It's just a rhetoric of a loser begging for mercy. These people just write down their hatred and wait for new opportunities. Therefore, killing Zhuang Hong is the same as killing the lord who drove his tiger's den to steal the treasure chest at the beginning, without any burden in his heart. Bend down and pick up the other party's Book of Lords. Open it and look. Perhaps because the identity cannot be identified, the body of this skeleton soldier cannot be used at present. Put away the Book of Lords, continue to control the skeleton to squat down and start to take off Zhuang Hong's clothes. 3 or 2 times, Zhuang Hong was pulled out. It's quite white, that it's not that Fang Hao has any special hobby, but that he really needs this dress. After crossing over, everyone wears their original clothes, but changing and washing has become a very troublesome thing. Since Zhuang Hong is dead, this outfit will be left to him. As for the clothes of the dead, is it taboo? This does not appear here in Fang Hao. This world is all about life and death. I dare to kill people. Why don't you dare to wear clothes? Take off the blood-stained clothes, pants, and sneakers, and put them aside. This pair of sneakers is really good, and the price is not cheap. Someone, bury him. 2 skeleton soldiers came in, lifted Zhuang Hong's body, and walked out. It is also considered safe. I hope this is a dream. Wake up, and everyone returns to the original world. Exit the Patriarch's Hall. The stars are still shining in the sky. An array of morning light has appeared on the horizon. Roughly estimated, it should be around 3 or 4 in the morning. The skeletons are still busy. Take off all the equipment of the dead orc and collect it. Standing at the door of the hall, Fang Hao felt a tingling pain in his head. It seemed that someone was flicking his cranial nerves, and there was an indirect pain. Among them, there is the fatigue of fighting all night, and there is also the consumption of mental power by using the ability of God Promise. For a long time, after explaining the work to the skeletons, the state of God's presence was directly lifted, returned to the body. After taking a sip of water, he fell asleep. Chapter 20, Thirsty Blood Set. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wake up again, the sun is hanging high. In this way, he slept directly until noon. There was a grumbling protest from his stomach, reminding him that you will starve to death if you don't eat. The territory was deserted, and all the skeletons had not returned from the kobold camp. In the territory, there are only mountains of resources. Light the fire and make some roasts. Open the Book of Lords, except for the scrolling chat. There are several private chat messages. Boss, you will be fine, right? I have prepared a lot of resources, waiting for you to exchange food. Boss Fang Hao, why haven't you put food on the shelves today? Boss, if you have an accident, tell me the location of the territory, and I will divide the inheritance. There are many articles in a row, including several people who have traded blueprints. they are all asking Fang Hao if something has happened, otherwise, why is there no food on the shelves at this time? Fang Hao yawned twice. I put food on the shelves to prove that I have no accident and I am still alive. In the chat channel, everyone is still chatting. Tell you, I fished out another skeleton from a fishing net today, and the number was much higher than last time. It's so scary, it's really not good. You can change the river, this river is poisonous. It's just that no one buys the fish you sell. Is your river the Styx? Fishing for bones every 3 days. Are there piranhas in the river? No, listen to me, this time, I found several sets of leather armor and leather helmets in the skeleton, just to equip my soldiers. Fuck, so lucky. Envy, I don't have soldiers or leather armor. How many sets did you pick up? Are you selling them? Exchange them for resources. Not for sale. I'm walking up the river. When I find it again, I'll sell it to you. This is Zhuang Bin again. In the last war with the Kobold camp, he said that he dropped the net and caught a bunch of skeletons. At that time, Fang Hao felt that this person's territory was downstream of the stream near the Kobold. Another battle last night, the other party found skeletons and leather helmets again today. It is even more certain that his territory is not far from the Kobold camp. Fang Hao watched everyone chatting and farting, and finished the barbecue. After eating 3 or 2 mouthfuls, he returned to the room, selected his troops, and used the God Promise skill. Next second, Fang Hao appeared in the Kobold camp. The skeletons have finished cleaning the battlefield, and without any new orders, they are just like terracotta warriors, standing in the same place. Fang Hao patrolled around and came to the middle of the supplies, resources, 1742 creeping spines, 120 iron units, 80 animal hides, and 50 war coins. Equipment, 2012 orc machete, 842 orc leather armor, 655 orc leather helmet, 1055 orc leather boots, 32 orc iron armor, 11 orc iron helmet, 12 flatbed cars. Miscellaneous, for baskets of fruit, 42 units of salt. Map of Manin Market. So, only war can make Fang Hao develop rapidly, supporting war, with the blessing of 100 times increase. After each war, there will be an outbreak of troops. This time, 1742, wriggling backbone, were obtained. With the blessing of a 100-fold increase, the number of troops will reach a terrifying level. A large number of orc equipment can also increase the combat effectiveness of skeletons, not to mention fruit and salt. Improve your diet. Manin Market. Category, sheet drawings. Description, a peaceful market established by the orcs, where all fighting and looting are prohibited. It is similar to the map of Dragon Burial Cave, obtained before. On the single map, the route to the orc market was drawn. This made him suddenly sound his own bazaar. In 5 days, the skeleton merchant will come to the realm with new merchandise. And he has not prepared enough war coins. This orc market, maybe you can try it, get war coins, and next to the pile of materials, there is also a set of equipment placed separately. Bloodthirst helm, bloodthirst breastplate, bloodthirst gauntlets, bloodthirst boots, bloodthirst suit, purple. Category, body defense, level 5 defense. Set effect, Mad Demon. When destroying or assisting in destroying each enemy, the strength increases by 1% for 8 seconds. This effect can stack up to 50 times. Description, the rubbing sound of armor is like sticky blood spilling on the ground. Fang Hao was somewhat impressed by this piece of equipment. At that time, it was Keto's equipment, and now it seems that it is still a rare set. The breastplate is a metal armor piece, which is tightly wrapped with a layer of black leather armor, and the leather armor is engraved with complicated patterns. Bloodthirst suit is a treasure of the Fireblade tribe, which was previously equipped by the Orc Patriarch, Fireblade. This time, Keto went on an expedition, and as the most favored son of the Fireblade chief, he let him carry this bloodthirsty suit to avoid danger. But who would have thought that all of them underestimated this undead village without a city wall? Keto also stayed here completely. Pick up the bloodthirst gloves, look at it, and turn it over. A bloody orc finger fell out of the glove. Don't even think about it. This must be because the equipment is too difficult to take off, and the movements of the skeleton are more rigid. He simply attached his fingers and pulled it off. Thinking of this, Fang Hao threw down his gloves and boots again, but fortunately there were no remaining limbs. Okay, Fix the goods and go back to the territory. The skeletons put all the loot on the trolley and retie it with twine. The big team set off again and returned to the territory in a mighty manner, a few hours away. The brigade finally returned to the territory, unload all the materials according to their positions, and let all the skeletons return to their posts and continue to work. Life goes on. In order to resist the dangers that may arise in the future, the pace of development cannot be slack at all times. Fang Hao released the God's presence, state and walked out of the Lord's cabin. Seeing the world from the body of a skeleton is always different from seeing the world through your own eyes. In the eyes of the skeleton, everything was bleak and colorless, and it felt like an underworld. It's better to see the world by yourself. It's nice to live, although this time is a passive battle. The harvest is also quite rich. Not only has he obtained a large amount of orc equipment, but also more than 1,000 squirming spines. The novice protection is about to end, and these more than 1,000 backbones can increase the security of the territory after the explosion. Skeleton soldiers do not need food. Unlike other lords, when recruiting troops, it is also necessary to calculate the reserves of food. In addition, there are Zhuang Hong's Book of Lords, and Kito's purple quality suit. All are rare treasures. Fang Hao walked down the steps and came to the material. The system prompt appears immediately. The Book of Lords can be swallowed. Then, Zhuang Hong's Book of Lords, like a blueprint, turned into little stars and merged into Fang Hao's Book of Lords. You gain the decision-making power of the territory to which Zhuang Hong belongs. Occupy/abandon. Occupy. It will become your affiliated territory and can continue to develop. Abandoned. 50% to 80% of the territory's resources will be obtained, and this territory will be abandoned.